Hi everyone, welcome to Amazing You. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Sania Green-Reynolds, book writing coach and author success strategist. Welcome, Sania.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you as well to your listeners for having me.
So tell us briefly about your story, Sania.
Well, I am a girl of Caribbean descent living in the UAE, and I have been traveling for the last maybe 7, 8 years now as an international educator. And that's how I became an author as well. I wrote my first book about 5 years ago. And in that book, I help people to overcome their lack of confidence and self doubt to become more confident. Um,
So what is the title of your book?
the title of that book is The Self Confidence Booster. There are other works and books of which I am also contributor as well.
Right.
So that's the first and main one.
That's amazing. So what has inspired you to start that business?
Right. So, as I mentioned the book, when I first decided to write the book, it was because so many people were asking me the same question, pretty much, you know, how can I improve my confidence? How can I become a better presenter, a better speaker? How can I command the room like you do? At the time, I was living in Japan, and I worked a lot with students who were learning to speak and present English, through writing speeches and giving all sorts of speeches in English. So when I wrote that book, I basically wrote it for that uh, group of students,
Yes.
second language speakers, and also the teachers, because they had the same confidence issues.
Wow.
So I wrote the book, decided that, hey, I'm answering these same questions all the time. So why not just put it in a book? When I did write that book, I realized that it wasn't just that group of people who really tapped into it and responded well to it. There were
Yes.
a lot of other people in the Western world who also wanted that information.
Wow.
So shortly after, I had a lot of people asking me, how can I get started on writing my own book, my own story? And so I started doing a lot of one-on-one work to develop confidence and also share stories, write their own books. So
Okay.
that's how the business came about.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've always been an educator where I have taught writing to high school students, and so it was natural for me to be able to help to teach the writing aspect of how to write a book, and then the business of it just came along as well because ever since I started that book,
Yes.
I started offering other digital solutions and
Okay.
coaching and so on.
Wow. Thank you. And what has been the greatest challenge in your life, Sanya? And how did you overcome it?
Well, I've had to overcome a lot of things. There's been me growing up without my mom, for example, that really impacted me heavily and deeply. I've really had to do a lot of internal work on that. Growing up without a mom affects you in many ways. You wonder at times, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Is something wrong with me that my own mom would just off and leave me and not show much remorse or anything like that?
Mm.
So I've had to overcome all those self-doubt and self-worth
Yes.
that kind of surrounded those kind of emotions.
Yeah. What
Um,
age was it that when that happened?
so I've known myself without a mom. Like
Oh,
I learned that she left me when I was 2.5 years old.
okay.
Yeah. And then, as I grew up, I ended up having two kids at an early age and then having to raise them all by myself
Wow.
until recently when I got married. So that too was like just more hurt on top of more hurt.
Yeah.
Expecting my children's father, who is way older than me, to at least, be more responsible or at least have some sense of responsibility. And
Yes.
that didn't happen. That was hurtful as well. So I
Mm,
found myself working maybe 2, 3 times as hard as any woman my age,
mm.
having to take care of two children. And then I would say one of the most recent was just being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, where some days the things I want to do with my body, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So that's just a whole lot of mental, emotional, and physical hurt that I've had to overcome.
Mm,
But being a believer, though, has really
yes.
helped me in the sense that I look to God for healing. I look to Him for help.
Yes.
I look to Him for guidance. I
Mm,
look to Him for blessings and for ideas. He literally has shown me the way and has guided me to this place in my life where I feel whole, I feel successful. And so I definitely have seen that turnaround in my life. So
wow.
I would say I've overcome with my faith, really.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And who has been the most influential person in your life, Sania, and why?
Hmm. I don't know that I have a most influential person. I know, though, that there are several people
Okay.
who have actually inspired me. I would love to sit here and say, oh, my mom, or, you know, but for example, as a girl growing up, I looked at my aunt, who is my father's sister and my grandmother's only daughter, and I had a lot of respect for her.
Mm,
Um, her success, where she came from. Our story was actually quite similar. She got pregnant at an early age, but then she really turned her life around. So
yes.
that was an inspiration for me. I
Mhm.
look at other powerful women in society as well.
Yes.
When I think about Michelle Obama, for example,
Yes.
and just how confident she is, and
Mm,
in her knowing of who she is, and just the fact that she came from humble beginnings, but she was always very focused in and she knew who she was,
yes.
and she became that person who
Yes.
she knew she could become always. So it's just a range of women along the way who has really inspired me, um, to be who I am, or
Mhm.
to become even greater than who I am today.
Absolutely. Yes. What are the qualities, the three qualities that you admire in those women?
Well, I definitely admire their resilience, in terms of fighting, the world. I've seen the world try to shred Michelle Obama apart, and she did not allow that to happen. She stood her ground. She believed in herself. So confidence is one of those things, and resilience is one of those things, and just that knowing, that sense of knowing, when other people think they know about you, but really you know more about you than they do know.
Yes.
There is power in knowing thyself, so I
Yes.
admire those things.
Thank you. And what coach has helped you, Sania, to cope in challenging times?
As I said, I am moved by my faith. So for me, I typically look to a lot of my inspiration comes from the Bible.
Okay.
So when it's tough, I tell myself, you can do all things. I can do all things through Christ, my creator. I believe he's my creator, who gives me strength. That's one of my all-time favorite thing to say to myself. I can, I will, you know. and I must do this. This is what I want to do to feed my soul, to be that woman of purpose that I was
Mm.
created to be.
Thank you. And what would you say today to encourage people who are listening and watching and who are facing some tough times, Sania?
You know what? I would tell you with a lot of grace that tough times, they can really push us to be the greatest of ourselves, like the greatest version of ourselves. Um, it's not that I am caught up in this comparison web, but I look around and I see a lot of people with whom I grew up, for example, and their lives were pretty much different from mine. And in the end, I don't see them being more successful. It depends on your definition of success. But we all lead our lovely, amazing lives right now. But my life was probably 100 times harder than theirs if
Mm.
we're looking at just physical hardships and anything along that line, because people have different kinds of hardships, and we don't want to really say one kind is worse or one kind is better.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I have seen myself grown into this powerful woman, and I have seen myself help people all around the globe. I've worked with people on all 7 continents now. And I have been able to use my story, to use my past to propel me forward. So at the end of the day, I would definitely say when you're going through a hard time, just see yourself as becoming a better person as a result of those times that you're going through. Just see yourself as that gold being refined through the
Mm.
fire. Just see yourself as you grow in that character that you need to get to the next level. Because I strongly believe that everything that we go through in life is a preparation for the next stage.
Yes.
You definitely want to build character. You definitely want to build resilience.
Yeah.
You definitely want to uh, just process yourself to see how best you are going to be able to manipulate and conquer and deal with the next stage of your life. So don't give up on yourself. That's the first thing. Handle it with grace, and just have that sense of certainty that it's going to come to an end. Like life is all about seasons. We have spring, autumn, summer, and winter. Different temperature, different climates, different colors, different foods, different experience, different feel comes over you. So it's
Yeah.
all about dealing with life with the knowing that no season is here to stay. So even when you're having your good time, celebrate, enjoy it, but don't be naive to the fact that, hey, you know, life comes in seasons. Enjoy the seasons.
Thank you. I like that. I like that metaphor of the season, Sania. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell us briefly about your business, what you do, and how can people contact you, Sania?
Oh, well, I would love to let you know that, our company or my company is not just about helping people to write their books, but we also do full book productions for people as well. So if you find yourself in that place or space where you've been saying over the last 5, 6, 10 years, maybe even a year, because that's a long time you could get a book written. You've been saying, oh, I'm going to write my book. Oh, I want to write my book, but you just have not gotten the time to write that book. We offer full book production services at Lit Publishing Limited. Of course, at Lit Publishing Limited, our mission is to illuminate the world with words. So we definitely want to tell your story. We definitely want to share your knowledge, your insight. And we definitely want to make the world a better place with your book, whether it's a fictional book or a nonfiction book, memoir, whatever it is. We will help you to get that book written. We'll help you plan your book. We'll help you plan your business around your book as well, and use that book to really get people to see you, see your work, know your work, and take you to the next level. And it doesn't have to be a very long process. We are writing books in as little as 7 days. Our authors can get their manuscript, and we can make other edits, and books can be produced and published and marketed within 21 to 30 days.
Wow, that's wonderful. And how can people contact you, Sania?
Of course, you can drop me an email at litpublishingfirst@gmail.com. So that's lit, L-I-T, publishing, number one, ST at gmail.com. Or you can connect with me on social media. Everyone is hanging out on what they call it, metaverse these days, Instagram.
Yes.
You can find me at Lit Publishing. You search Lit Publishing, I'm sure you will come across me, and we can connect from there. I'll also give you my details, Rani, so you can also add it to this description of this video.
I will. Thank you. Yes. So, thank you so much, Sania, for sharing with the audience and for taking the time. And I wish you a lot of success moving ahead. And thank you to the audience for listening and watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate you and your audience taking time out to knowing a little bit about me. You all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Same to you, Sania.
All right.